Hey everybody, it's Bruce here. Welcome to my channel, Traveling with Bruce. I hope you enjoy the upcoming video. If you like it, consider giving me a thumbs up. If you really like it, become a subscriber. If you like my channel as a whole, check out my Patreon page and consider supporting me there too. Okay, let's go to the video right now. Hey everybody, it's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. One of the things I love to do on my channel is not only tell you about places I've been, but people I've met. And I'll tell you, my wife and I, we met this young lady in Grand Cayman at a restaurant on a Sunday morning. We used to live on the island full time, and we decided, rather than make breakfast today, why don't we go for a bite to eat? I feel like pancakes. And we went to a restaurant down there, and we caught up with this waitress who's from Canada, and delightful young gal, and we got to talking to her a little while, and found out she's about 24 years old, and she had just recently finished her university education, and she had about $40,000 in student debt, and her game plan that she was working on was she was working in this restaurant serving breakfast and lunch and dinner for regulars and tourists, the locals I guess and tourists, and being paid in Cayman Island dollars for her efforts and making tip money. And her plan was to pay off her student loan. And we asked her how long she thought it would take based on how it was going so far. And she had mentioned to us that she had been there for about 3 months, and that she was averaging about $3,000 to $3,500 a month towards her student debt. And she felt that within the first year that she'd have her loan paid off in full. And I was just delighted to hear this talk, and I asked her a little bit more about what her big picture is, her big game plan, and she said, well, she's hoping to stay in the island for up to 2 years. She had a 1-year work permit. She felt the renewal wouldn't be a big deal. She'd go for a second year. And that by the time the second year was over, that she would have upwards of $50,000 saved up. And then she would then go traveling with a good friend of hers who was also doing the same thing, by the way, down on the island. That they were going to travel the world for a year. And I gave her kudos. I thought this is an absolutely wonderful story. What a great strategy. You have a goal in mind. First, you get out of debt. Number 2, you travel the world. And I said, have you thought about what happens after that? And she said, well, we've been tossing this around a little bit, but the two gals were saying, what we might do is we might either come back here or do the same thing again for a 2-year stint on another Caribbean island, where again we can cater to tourists from around the world, and save up enough money for perhaps a business or for advanced education. We really haven't decided, but we're pretty determined that we're going to take at least a year off to travel, and then we'll work 2 more years, and we'll have a bit of a nest egg for our next venture, our next step forward. And I thought, man, this is absolutely fantastic. And I asked her, I said, do you recommend this for any other students out there? She said, I recommend it for anyone who's a student that has student loans. This is the way to go. They were renting an apartment or like a condo with 2 other workers. The 4 of them were paying about $2,000 in rent per month for the unit, which is typical down in the Cayman Islands, nothing outrageous with that number. So they were splitting it 4 ways, and with utilities and their grocery bill, they were each able to live down there for about $1,000 a month. I'm quoting basically US dollars just to give you an idea of what's going on. About $1,000 US a month is what it was really costing them. And they were making more in the $5,000 a month range, if not even more, because they were willing to work more than 40 hours a week. I mean, they're there to make money. They're not there to socialize and just hang out on the beach all day long. They got days off for that anyway. But if she could get in a 10-hour shift or a 12-hour shift, she'd take it. She was young, she was strong, she was energetic, and she was motivated. And for every hour they were working, they were making some good coin. Remember, you live down there, you're not paying income tax. It's a tax-free environment. So the gross money coming in, you got it. And they were taking advantage of this opportunity to make the money and pay off bills. And I said, well, what about getting homesick? I mean, you're from Canada, you're thousands of miles from home. Don't you miss the folks? And she said, are you kidding me? She said, I've been down here for 6 months. I've had 3 different visitors come down here already. My mom and dad came down. They spent a week down here. Then I've had other friends come down and other relatives. We're hardly lonely. As a matter of fact, our calendar is constantly being filled in with other people that want to come down here. We're not lonely at all. We don't also feel abandoned, or we don't feel in a remote area. It's easily accessible. And the other thought that they had was that they have already taken the opportunity to take a quick weekend getaway to Miami, where the island, we used to use a term when we lived on the island, it was called island fever. So after a few months of being on the island all the time, you kind of miss the taste of cheap Chinese food in a shopping mall. So we would call that island fever. We'd grab a plane ride to Miami, an hour and 15 minutes each direction, and spend a couple of nights and hit a shopping mall, do some shopping, and come back with a bunch of stuff duty-free back to the island. That was a great cure for island fever. Just a quick 36-hour, 48-hour getaway is all you needed. And these gals were already doing that. The other thing they also noticed, too, was that there were a number of other students down there doing exactly the same thing, and they were meeting them. You start to form these expat groups and tribes, and parties all the time, and get-togethers on the beach, get together for a cookout, get together for beach volleyball, this kind of thing. So they were constantly being invited to different outings and what have you, and they were hardly lonely. So for those of you out there who've worked your tail off and have got your degree, or you've gone to college for 2 or 3 or 4 years, you're taking a bit of a break, or you're in between regular school and graduate school, you want to make some money, pay down some debts, build up some cash, this is something to look into. It's not the perfect solution for everyone out there, but there are a lot of youngsters out there, a lot of young people between, say, 21 to 30 years of age who have taken it upon themselves to become expatriates and live and work offshore in these islands in the Caribbean and other places. I would recommend you want to be in an island, like an island resort island like this, where the demographics are higher. You don't want to be working in a country where the demographics are low. You want to be in an area where the labor is needed and where the tourists are relatively well off, and the Caymans fit the bill. The Cayman Islands is not an island where you would get a 1-week all-inclusive holiday for rock-bottom prices. They can't compete with Cuba, not even close. That's a very expensive place to visit, but it's a beautiful place to be, and a great place to work as an expatriate, especially if you're willing to work hard. And generally speaking, the work ethic of a 22-year-old recent university graduate outdoes the work ethic of almost anyone out there. Employers on the island would kill for 22, 23, 24-year-old guys and girls who are going to come down, work as bartenders, doormen, concierge, waitresses, beach servers. There are jobs down in the Cayman Islands for scuba diving lessons, just all kinds of opportunities. And the way to do it is you scour the internet for job openings in the Cayman Islands. That's one way to do it. But another way to do it is take a quick vacation down there yourself. Stay at the Holiday Inn or at the Best Western. There's a couple of cheaper hotels. Go down there with a friend and share a hotel room and share a car rental, and look around town and start asking the locals, different venues that hire people from offshore to come down and work. And if you have any kind of waitressing experience or bartending experience, anything like that already, you're a shoo-in for the application. If you're healthy and you're strong and you're ready to work, you'll find work. And believe me, you put in the hours, you're going to make some good coin. And getting paid in Cayman Island dollars, which is $1.20 to the American dollar, so it's 20% more valuable than the American dollar, and working tax-free without income tax, you can direct all that extra cash towards your student loans or any other debts you have and build up some cash reserves. And within a short period of time, it'll make a huge difference in your financial outlook. And you may find that, hey, it's time for a bit of a holiday, or get right back at your studies and come back to the mainland or wherever you're from, and go back to school and continue your education. It's the possibilities are endless, and there's just no end to the possibilities. Really, it's fantastic. Anyway, that's a quick little video from me. As I say, my wife and I were delighted to meet this young gal, and we talked to her for a good 10 minutes, and she really had her act together, and she was focused, and it was working for her really well. And it can for you too. So there you go. There's a way to pay off your student loans a lot quicker than working for minimum wage back in Canada or the USA. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you like my channel as a whole, why don't you subscribe, and we'll just keep the videos coming. You take care. We'll talk to you next time on Traveling with Bruce.